Hey guys, Mr. Happy here, and today we're doing another Final Fantasy XIV video. Seems like I finally have something Final Fantasy XIV to talk about. And this is actually a pretty big thing that I want to talk about right now, because it's something that I get asked very often, and actually I see is a very common question, not really on the official forums, but if you go anywhere other than the official forums where people are asking about this game, Steam, Reddit, you see talk about how many people actually play this game. Now, the reason why that's happening is because of the traditional fall off of a popularity of a new MMO. Every new MMO that comes out usually has a pretty successful first set of sales and some good numbers right at the launch, and then you really have to pay attention to a game's success 6 months to a year down the line to see how well they're actually doing. Well, considering we're almost at the 7th month mark since A Realm Reborn launched, obviously it's been over 3 years since the original Final Fantasy XIV has launched. I think it's time that we finally took a look at those numbers and said, hey, how well is this game really doing right now? So, how many active subscribers does Final Fantasy XIV have? Now, I've been wondering this ever since they first showed, hey, we have about 600,000 concurrent logins every day. Now, concurrent logins is, again, one of those numbers where I feel like it's purposely manipulated to say, yeah, there could be more than that. There's probably more actual subscribers than that, but that's a number that we're going by for the sake of this, 600,000 concurrent logins. So they tracked that, and that was back in, if I'm not mistaken, back in November, I think that they told us that. Maybe even October. I feel like it was definitely not the first month after the game came out. It was definitely the following live letter, because, you know, the first free month is one thing, but then you have to look at the game a month after it's been, you know, a subscription model where people aren't playing for free anymore. So we got 600,000 concurrent logins, and that was really good news because Yoshi-P didn't expect more. Like, he was expecting, yeah, when the game first launches, it's probably not going to be that popular. You know, probably get like, what, 300,000 to 400,000 active subscribers worldwide. And he was pleasantly surprised to have over 600,000 concurrent logins, which, again, doesn't accurately represent how many subscribers there are, but if it's could be set as sort of a minimum. Well, if there's at least 600,000 concurrent logins of individuals, then it's safe to say that there's more than that in terms of subscribers, which is a very good number to look at. Now, of course, it's been 7 months now since the game came out. It's been, you know, 4 or 5 months since they put those numbers out. So where does the game really stand? Well, we've been kind of waiting for those numbers to be made public, but we haven't heard anything. Everybody likes to point to that whole 1.8 million. No, that's not active subscribers. I don't care how much of a fanboy of the game I am, how much of a Final Fantasy fanboy I am. I know that it's not 1.8 million active subscribers. It's not. That means how many registered accounts there are. How many people have bought the game and played it. Whether or not they played it after the game was, you know, free to play anymore. Like, those are inactive. It includes inactive accounts is the safest way to say it. It's people who have bought the game, basically. Whether or not they're still playing doesn't matter. It's how many people have bought the game. I also don't know if it includes legacy accounts who bought the game ages ago. I'm assuming it does. So I think that was like 600,000 in sales the original Final Fantasy XIV had. So let's say 1.2 million. But regardless, the whole reason why I'm going into this is because I actually had somebody on my live stream send me an article from Silicon Era, which quotes articles from 4Gamer, or an interview with 4Gamer. And the interview is actually with the lead director of Dragon Quest X, Final Fantasy XI, and of course, Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn. Now, with that in mind, the entire point of the article is to find out how well are these games doing. There was literally no other point. It wasn't like, oh yeah, let's have this conversation, and then, you know, oh, by the way, how well? No, literally all they said, give us numbers. Let us know exactly how your game is doing. Now, of course, there was no exactly. It was all estimates. But besides the point, the interview with 4Gamer starts with them talking to Yoshi-P, Naoki Yoshida. And he says that the current number of players has surpassed the 1.8 million mark, and that the number of characters is 6.75 million, and total playtime has surpassed 400 million hours. So, having said that, we've already spoken about that 1.8 million number. The number of characters being 6.75 million, that could be skewed from a number of things, let's be honest here. That would basically say that the average player makes about 4 characters, anywhere from 3 to 4 characters. I myself have 5 characters, but I also don't know how RMT get factored into this, because they make tons of characters all the time. I don't think it's going to include the banned RMT accounts in the case of the registered accounts and the total number of characters. I'm assuming banned accounts don't count towards this number, but that's just me. And the total playtime surpassing 400 million hours. I don't feel like doing math right now. 24 hours times 365 days divided, 400 million divided by that. It's a lot of time. Let's just say that 400 million hours is a lot of time. It's more time than you'll have in your lifetime. It's a lot more time than you'll have in your lifetime. I'm pretty sure. If I had to guess, it's a lot more than a lifetime's worth of hours. Now, of course, 4Gamer, like us, knows that 1.8 million thing is bullcrap. They know that 1.8 million does not mean you have 1.8 million subscribers. Tell us how many active subscribers you have. And Yoshi-P didn't disappoint. It's like, well, daily active numbers are things that can be easily misunderstood. So that immediately leads you to believe, oh, well, he could either give us a really big number that's complete bullcrap again, or he could give us a small number and do the same thing he did with the subscriber, with the concurrent logins number that we spoke about before. And the peak time between Japan and other countries are different. At this time, it looks like he's reaching for concurrent logins, but he doesn't want to almost because he knows the number will be smaller. Responds Yoshi, if we go by the amount of people who log in each day, so now he's not looking at concurrent, he's just looking at general logins. It's about 500,000 people worldwide. There are people who also log in at least once every 2 days, so if we were to include those, the figure would be much higher. I'm generally impressed by this number, 500,000. I honestly didn't think Final Fantasy XIV still had 500,000. I was reaching for more the 350,000 mark right now, and that's kind of where the game wants to be, where when they first launched, that's where they wanted the game to be. So if they really do have 500,000 or more active subscribers, the game is actually doing fairly well by their own standards. Now, the only reason why I'm even bringing this up is because I know a lot of people have suffered that loss from the game first coming out. So when the game first comes out, you have these group of people that you play with, and a lot of them fall off because they're not long-term MMO players, or they rush through the content like I do, and they just want to move on to the next bigger and better thing. So can't really say it's too surprising that a lot of people have seen that player fall off problem, because it just happens when new MMOs come out. You really have to wait for a game to stabilize and find groups of people that stabilize. But at least it goes to show that the game is pretty much far from dead. 100,000 more than they were hoping for at some point later on in their lifespan. And who's to say that that number can't get bigger? Who's to say that that number won't get smaller? We don't know. Now, one little funny comment is that he wouldn't comment on specific countries. He says he doesn't know, but he said the global administrator for MMORPG titles, and he means all of them, would say something along the lines of China having the most people. Excuse me, I started coughing with that. I think he means RMT. I think he means there's a lot of RMT people in China who want to play the game. Now, that could also have something to do with the fact that the game is launching for China sometime later this year, and I guess we'll just see where it has to go from there. I'm looking forward to the PlayStation 4 release and the Chinese release. Just for the sake of covering the entire article, Dragon Quest X says they currently have about 300,000 people a day who log in, and as far as I know, that game is only out in Japan, so that is extremely impressive to me, that 300,000 people log in daily in just Japan. If that game were to release worldwide, I don't know how much bigger that number would get. I can't imagine it would get that much bigger, but I gotta say, I'm still impressed that Dragon Quest X has 300,000 people a day who log in just one country, if it is only launched in one country. And of course, they did talk about Final Fantasy XI very briefly, but he was kind of embarrassed to talk about the numbers because he's right alongside the two basically head honchos of the Japanese MMO gaming market right now. And so he was like, yeah, we're doing a lot better, but we have seen some fall off because of Final Fantasy XIV. Some people have come back to Final Fantasy XI, and some people from Final Fantasy XI have left for Final Fantasy XIV. So he refused to give a number. I'm assuming it's less than 6 digits is the main reason. Less than 100,000 people. But as far as I'm concerned, he shouldn't be embarrassed. He's had his game, well, this game has been running for 12 or 13 years now, depending on where you first played the game, whether it's USA or Japan. And it's still profitable. It's still Square Enix's most profitable MMO. And considering how archaic most of its models are, it's very impressive that it's still going on, in my opinion. So he should be proud of himself. And hopefully we are going to be seeing more of Final Fantasy XI in the future. Hopefully they're not planning on stopping that anytime soon. Every time I log on, there's still a ton of people. So I can't really complain. But anyway, guys, what do you guys think? Do you think this 500,000 number is accurate? Where do you think the real number lies? Because obviously this isn't a flat this many subscribers number, and we're never going to get that kind of number. You know, it's always going to be rounded off to some degree. Could it be a little bit less than 500,000, maybe even more than 500,000 based on what he said? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos. Be sure to check out the rest of my channel as well. Also, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter where you can get regular updates about when I'm posting videos, get the latest Final Fantasy XIV news, Diablo 3, Dark Souls 2 streaming, whatever. And of course, be sure to follow me on Twitch, where I, again, do live stream. That's where I got this article from. It's good times, and hopefully you'll have some good laughs. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Until next time, take care.